Getting some love. All right, Dan, here comes another personal question, my friend.
All right, good.
Your wife, Anna. Now, many people know you from the TV show, and they realize you're a single father when that TV show took place. Now you're married again. Who is she, and what's she mean to you, brother? And how's she fit in with this cause?
Right after I was wounded in Iraq and I went through a divorce, I really wasn't looking for a marriage or a relationship, and God just lined it up, and everything just kept telling me this is the right woman and you're stupid if you let her go. And she was mortally wounded in 2003 in a car accident where she had a head-on car collision, and the lap seatbelt literally severed her in half. And she bled to death at the scene because the arteries were tore loose in her legs. And truly by the grace of God, and that's the only way you can explain it, her life was spared, but her spine was severed, her kidneys were stopped working. She was told she was going to be on kidney dialysis the rest of her life, and she wouldn't be able to walk anymore, that she'd be paralyzed. She lost 3 feet of her colon, or 3 feet of her intestine, lost her colon, and was just, as they say, lucky to be alive. But she prayed non-stop, and for like 3 weeks she was on kidney dialysis, and they said, just get used to it. Your kidneys aren't ever going to start working again. And she continued to pray until God restored her kidneys. And then after that, she prayed until God restored her spine. And her new book called Cut in Half, How God Mended My Body with 23 Miracles, they're truly miracles. There's no other way to explain it. And again, there's a voice inside of me that said, this woman is perfect and you're stupid if you let her go. She's just been phenomenal. She's just been such a great attribute to my family and to this country that I couldn't imagine life without her.
She's actually been out here on the walks with you, and I understand that's a little bit painful for her, is it not?
Yes, part of Operation Payback, on a personal note, is me paying it back to God for thank you for a second chance at life, thank you for every breath I get, thank you for restoring my legs where I can get out here and walk for the men and women who have died for this country. And for her, it's a personal relationship and a personal journey for her, as saying thank you to God for restoring her legs as well. And so to say thank you to God, she's out here putting on miles with us. And she just, I love her to death. I truly fell in love with her within 7 months of meeting her, and had convinced her to be with me. And she too had gone through similar to what I went through right after her tragedy, and just as soon as she thought she was getting back up on her feet and starting to regain some ground and starting to charge ahead, she too went through a divorce. So we have a very unique set of, I guess, gifts, if you will, because instead of doing something horrible after the divorce or something horrible after our tragedies, we figured out how to make it to the other side of the mountain with God's help, and there was a huge gift on the other side. With everything that we're currently doing with Operation Payback, and on a side note, running for Congress and being involved in the schools and the community, just trying to make a difference in this crazy world, it could really take a toll on your marriage and on your life and everything else. But we have such a great relationship, and we have such a good, tight relationship with God, that we know that we're moving in the right direction. And it's truly a blessing to be able to get up every single day and try to figure out how can we help people today. What is our goal for today? Who can we help? Whose life are we going to impact by getting out there and doing something unique and try and inspire and help everybody? Right now this country's in pretty bad shape, and life is a gift. We're all in it together, so let's help one another out. A little bit of love and compassion goes a long way.
I love your message, Dan, and it never gets old. And as people will notice from this video log we're doing, you mentioned a lot about helping and your faith, and I appreciate that, and I know thousands and hopefully millions upon others do as well. So God bless you, brother.
Thank you. I believe he has. You're getting the horns.
We're going to get the horns.
We're talking about Jesus. Yeah, so anyhow, Evil in its mildest form could be something like a white lie or something, but it's progressive. You know, a little bit becomes a lot over a period of time, and it eventually becomes a big deal. You know, it's something mild where you don't even really realize it, and then eventually, you know, you're creating a major sin because it started with a small piece of pie or whatever. But like I was saying, Jesus, when he was first born, was you know, sought out to be murdered because evil in its purest form is violent and destructive. I mean, ultimately. But Jesus had to walk through every scenario. He had to be as a child, you know, growing up into the teenage years and so on, you know, was started off by being called a liar and saying that he does works for the devil, and he was called everything but a white boy. And then, you know, there towards the end, evil became in its purest form once again. And towards the end of his life, it did become violent and destructive. I mean, they whipped him with leather straps with metal hooks on the ends of them to rip the flesh out of him. They called him a liar. They spit on him. They gave him a crown of thorns. And then ultimately, they nailed him to a cross where he had to hang for 3 hours. From noon until 3, he hung with these big spikes ran through the centers of his wrists. If you hang him in the center of his palms, the flesh is so weak that the skin would just tear and he'd fall off the cross. At the same token, with him being pinned in the center of his wrists, he had to endure all this stress on his tendons and on his lungs. So every time he had to take a breath, he tried to stand up on the spikes that were driven through his feet. He had to try and stand to relieve the pressure off of his chest just so he could take a breath. And so for 3 hours, he endured this pain of standing on the spikes that were nailed through his feet, tearing into his tendons and his flesh, and trying to relieve the pressure off of his chest just so he could take a breath just to survive until the blood finally drained out of his body. And also, vinegar is a healing mechanism. It's a natural healing form. So if he would have taken a drink of vinegar off of that sponge, it would have started the healing process, and he would have hung in misery even longer. When he asked for a drink of water, they gave him vinegar. And at that time, when they put the vinegar to his lips, that's when he finally passed at 3 o'clock.
Wow, man.
Alright, life is truly a gift. I think that every single breath that you get, the very life that pulses through your veins, is a true gift. Look at all the billions of people that's lived before us. You know, our life is but a short time on the face of this earth, and it's not what you die with, but it's how you're remembered after you die. It's not how many toys and how much money and fancy cars and clothes and everything else that you had to screw people over in your lifetime to get where you got, but it's truly how you're remembered and who all you helped out and what example you set while you were here. And you know, look at how amazing God's creativity truly was. When you look at the heavens and you look at the universe and the creation of the planets and the explosions and everything else out in the universe, and then you look at how beautiful His creation is down here on earth, you know, the trees and the mountains and the oceans and the fish and everything that's beautiful. I mean, you know, and it's in all of its purest form. And then you look around and you see human beings, and you realize that we're created in God's image. Everywhere you look is a part of God. I mean, by looking at you, I see part of God because He created you in His image. Even though I'm a squid? Even though you're a squid. So, yeah, we won't hold that against you. But, you know, you realize that, look at how intricate the human body truly is and how amazing the human being truly is. And you realize that everywhere you look, no matter how beautiful and amazing everything seems, the human being is truly the perfect form because God created you in His image. So everywhere I look, I get to see a part of God every day. Even though you're dazzled by all the other beauty, the true gift is the human being and the very life that feeds through your veins. Outstanding.